Another year has passed, and once again our ears got blessed with dozens of beautiful songs and albums throughout 2024. And since this year comes to an end now, it is time to look back at the best and worst albums of every month this year. Based on the rankings of Pitchfork, the self-proclaimed most trusted voice in music, and based on the rankings of real listeners like you and me. The only criteria we have for today is the album has to be in English, it has to be a rap or hip hop album, it must be on this Wikipedia list because we got all the albums from there, so I'm sorry for your neighbor with 2 monthly listeners on Spotify, he will sadly not make this list. The album has to have a Pitchfork ranking, and last but not least, the album must have a minimum of 500 ratings on albumoftheyear.org because that's where we get the rankings of the listeners from. Type shit. Without further ado, let's start with January. Once he gon' make this shit look easy. Once he all up on the TV. To them high. Sigma, Sigma boy, Sigma boy, Sigma boy. No, guys. I know what you think, but I'm not trolling. Even though many big names like Untitled Chapter, 6ix9ine, Lyrical Lemonade, and most obviously 21 Savage dropped this month, Xavier So Based makes the run for the best rated hip hop album by Pitchfork in January. For everyone who hasn't heard the album, I will just describe it in my words. Extremely catchy beats, goofy ass drums, and the vocals either sound majestic or like a dying cat. There's nothing in between. The rating Xavier received for his album Keep It Going, Xav, is an astonishing 8.2 out of 10 by Pitchfork. And if you know Pitchfork, you know that's hard. Very, very hard. On the second place we got Penalty of Leadership by Nicholas Craven and Boldy James with also an astonishing rating of 7.9 out of 10. And on the third place we finally got 21 Savage with American Dream, and he received a rating of 6.8 out of 10. The worst album of January is Kid Cudi with Insano, and I don't think I have to say much about it. It received a rating of 4.6 out of 10 by Pitchfork, and we all agree because this shit was mid as fuck. Let's continue with the ratings of the real listeners.
Call him a snitch. I need to see his discovery while everybody wishing the kid a speedy recovery.
Look, I got a whole lot of ops up with a brand new stick. Tell him get in line, tell him suck the whole dick. Here we are with yet another surprise, at least for me. With a score of 74 out of 100 and based on 1,535 ratings of casual listeners, Penalty of Leadership by Boldy James and Nicholas Craven takes the win in the month of January. I gotta be honest, I didn't know them before. But the album is cool, I guess. The album is mostly chilled and laid back rap with good storytelling. It's definitely worth a listen, but I just don't get it how 21 Savage wasn't able to win this month. The worst album of January was 6ix9ine's Blackballed. He received a score of 15 out of 100 based on 671 ratings. I get it, the album wasn't great, it's just basic 6ix9ine music how you expect it to be. And on top of it, everybody hates him, so the rating was predictable.
Yeah, yo, Sri Lanka, doing well there. Bitch from Bel Air, named Bianca.
I was bored by the shit, made $1 billion. Now fuck that bitch, I need $1 trillion.
February was a relatively dry month, but come on. The biggest releases of February 2024 were probably Yeet with 2093 and Kanye with Vultures 1. And I agree that Vultures 1 wasn't the best Kanye album. It's arguably even the worst, but it's still better than Lavender by Heems and Lapkin.
Standing on being.
I'm sorry if you're offended by this. No, actually I'm not sorry. But this is just classic old head rap as I imagine it. I mean, if you search it on YouTube, you don't even find a music video to it. Pitchfork gave the album a 7.2 out of 10, which is enough to win the month of February over Vultures 1 and 2093, which both got a 5.8 out of 10. And because Pitchfork only rated 4 different albums in the month of February, the place for the worst album is also shared by 2093 and Vultures 1. I don't really think these are particularly bad albums, it's just probably because nothing else happened in February.
Start calling my bluff if you wanna make a mess. Don't call you enough, not as much as I
content. She wanna ride with the stars. Ended up dropping my top. Woke up. My ex told me she needed space.
I'm sure Hive Mind had something to do with this one. Quadeca won the regular listeners month of February with a score of 83 out of 100, which is the best score so far. The worst one was French Montana's Mac and Cheese 5, and that's completely true. He released like 6 versions of the same album and it is still ass. Interesting though, if we look at fan votes, the people clearly prefer the Yeet 2093 over the Vultures 1 album.
Blue slides, I've been sliding through your whole shit. Yeah, presidential rollies, I took big risks.
He speeding a rape, all his hand on my coochie. He touching a Emilio Poochie.
Now I'm tryna dodge a scene. Just walked out the lavish store, pair of shoes, 12.50.
Get a nigga wet on the news type shit. Sipping, drinking, acting on the screw type shit.
I don't even know what to begin with. First of all, I'm sorry for what you had to see, but I don't make the rules. Well, maybe I do make the rules. But anyway, I think in March I have to start with the worst albums and explain why they are the worst. As y'all have seen, the place for the worst album is shared by Flo Milli's Fine Ho Stay, Boss Mandilo's Mr. Beat the Road, and Metro Boomin and Future's We Don't Trust You. All of these 3 received a 7 out of 10, which is by far not a bad rating. But it just so happened that every other album that was released in March was rated better by Pitchfork. So don't hate on me, hate on Pitchfork, because you will never catch me listening to something else except Boss Mandilo in my stolen Hellcat.
Left pocket full of pink fizzy, right pocket got
The best album of March, on the other hand, is Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q, and I think we all agree on this one. Blue Lips received a 8.3 out of 10 by Pitchfork, and the album is a straight classic, full of bangers, and I think every one of you have heard it at least once. But yeah, Pitchfork definitely did Boss Mandilo and Future dirty with this one.
Blue slides, I've been sliding through your whole shit. Yeah, presidential rollies, I took big risks.
Well, I'm alive, I roll it, light it, smoke it, get me high, but that's just how I brainstorm. Ain't this what we made for?
That's right, Schoolboy Q also wins the casual listeners vote for the month of March, and with that we got ourselves our first double winner. Schoolboy gets a score of 77 based on 7,092 ratings. Damn. The worst album of the month of March based on community votes is Genre Sad Boy by MGK and Trippie Redd. Oh boy, now it gets ugly. They received a score of 10. Based on 4,726 ratings. You know what? I won't even comment it. Let me just read this review here. You know, when I woke up today I already felt like shit. Totally depressed, no motivation. But listening to this really put the nail in the coffin for me. Thanks Trippie Redd and MGK, your music should be unsafe to listen to. It actually makes people want to kill themselves. Track 8 is really relatable. It's exactly what I thought while listening to this. 413 likes. And this is the title of the track he talks about. Okay, let's move on now.
How many brain cells left? But I'm ready for play this game like chess. Sweet for it.
And we ball like TNT. Watch these hoes all pick a side. Bitches fly like TMZ.
After this absolute banger of a March, we had a slightly calmer April. The highlight for me is definitely the album of Concrete Boys. I don't know what Pitchfork was thinking, but it's definitely better than a 6.1. Trust me, if you haven't listened to it, just do it. The best album ranked by Pitchfork in April is Cold Visions by Blade. The album receives an 8.3 out of 10, and at this point I'm sure they're just trolling us. Don't get me wrong, the beats on there are fire as fuck.
Wake up, filthy.
But come on, an 8.3 for this? We got 30 songs on this, and some of them are just pure trash. And on the other hand, his vocals are always, let's say, not great. But maybe that's just a me problem. On the second place for March we got Sleep Paralysis by Baby Muta with a 7.7 out of 10, and on the third place we got We Still Don't Trust You by Future and Metro with a 7.1 out of 10. With a rating of 5.1, we got J. Cole's Grammy-nominated Might Delete Later as the worst album of April. Look. If we compare it to other J. Cole albums, it's right, it's a 5.1. But come on, you can't give this Blade dude a 8.3 and this J. Cole project a 5.1. Nah, Pitchfork was just tweaking in April.
How many brain cells left? But I'm ready for play this game like chess.
I'm Mr. Take your bitch, take her for a trip, fly her to New York, sign my name all on her tits.
Really guys, Blade also wins the community vote in April and is the second double winner. Based on 4,432 ratings, Cold Visions receives a score of 75 out of 100. You know what? Maybe I'm the problem. Anyway, the worst album of April rated by the community is Lil Mabu's Young Genius. Based on 1,503 votes, Mabu receives a 11 out of 100 for his project. At least one better than MGK and Trippie Redd, I guess. I don't really have anything to say about it, except album is trash and he's a cornball. One good thing though, he got a feature of the GOAT Lil Yachty.
Gelato got me numb. I can't feel my tongue. Counting all this paper, nigga. I just cut my thumb.
All that tough talk, just not scary to me. That is not your house, that's an Airbnb.
Look at us. We are already in May. And since we're here, would you maybe like this video and subscribe to our channel? Thank you guys for your support. With an incredible 8.4, Almighty So 2 by Chief Keef is the best rated album by Pitchfork in the month of May. I can't believe it. They actually did it. For the first time in this video, Pitchfork made a good decision. Another project that I have to mention, which also released in this month, is Gunna's One of One. And honestly, I don't get the hate. Gunna received a 5.7 from Pitchfork, which is ridiculous. There were so many people hating on his project just because of the YSL drama. See, I don't know if he snitched or not, but who cares? 99% of the people that hate on him are living in the suburbs.
I'm sorry, bitch, I did not cheat, believe me. I was just getting my dick up by Lil Phoebe.
The album was honestly great, and I'm sure if there wasn't so much drama around Gunna at this time, this would be an instant classic. Another album that released in this month is Sexy Red's In Sexy We Trust, and I won't say anything about it, just look at this Pitchfork rating.
Are you kidding me?
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 Yeah, honestly, that's enough. The worst album of May rated by Pitchfork is Ian's Valedictorian. Ian received a 4.1 out of 10 by Pitchfork. 4.1 is a little bit harsh if you ask me, but I get it. The album certainly isn't great and most of the songs are just used for TikTok edits.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit this. I guess I could take one too.
I long for loving and affection. These hoes ain't what I need direction.
All that tough talk, just not scary to me. That is not your house, that's an Airbnb.
Vince Staples receives the community vote in the month of May with his project Dark Times. He receives a score of 81 based on 8,670 ratings. See, if I would be a good music reviewer, I would listen to this album and then give you my honest opinion about it. But I couldn't care less about this project. With a score of 33, the worst rated project in May by the community is also Ian's Valedictorian. I don't get it how you can possibly think that this project is worse than Sexy Red's album. Anyway, we talked about this already. Next.
Turn the lights low in the club and it's just a silhouette.
Caught in the middle of the fire, the heat.
We received some very interesting and ordinary albums this month. The best album in June rated by Pitchfork is Why Lord by No Worries, Anderson .Paak and Knowledge. The album receives an 8 out of 10 and I understand that. This project isn't your classic rap album and it's certainly also not my type of music, but if you come up to me and say that this is your favorite album, I can respect that. The worst album of June on the other hand rated by Pitchfork is Bad Cameo by James Blake and Lil Yachty. They received a 6.4 out of 10. I really like this project, but yeah, it's not the first time that I can't relate with Pitchfork. Same as Why Lord, Bad Cameo is also not your typical rap album, but that's why I said hip-hop and not only rap at the beginning. So don't hate me in the comments for this. Other projects I need to mention that dropped in this month are Hearthstone Psycho by Toliver and Gemini by Lucki, which both didn't even receive a rating by Pitchfork. That's crazy to me. And also we can't forget To Hollis with Boy. It received a 7.2 by Pitchfork, and to everyone who hasn't listened to it, it's like net spend on crack. Oh, and if you haven't listened to Net Spend yet, his music also sounds like crack.
like friends, I make a whole day. Probably ruin it same way.
The community vote in the month of June goes to Lil Yachty with Samurai. He receives an astonishing score of 82 based on 7,693 ratings. And on top of that, it's also a very good project. I mean, I might have to say that June is my favorite month so far. But what do you think? Which one is your favorite month so far? Let me know down in the comments. The worst rated album in the month of June by the community is Gemini by Lucki. Lucki receives a score of 59 based on 1,092 ratings. I mean, it's not a super bad rating, but in my opinion the album is better than a 59. Ski What It Be, Rip and Twin Flow alone are enough to be better than a 59. But yeah, overall I can really live with the ratings of this month. And that's it guys with the first half of 2024. Here you can see a summary with all the best and worst ratings so far. The overall best Pitchfork rating is Almighty So 2 by Chief Keef with an 8.4, and the best community rating received Quadeca for his project Scrappy Art with a score of 83. I really put much love and effort in this video, so please let me know down in the comments what you thought about this and what I should do better. And if I see that you like this one, I will post the second part in no time. So please like this video and share it with your friends. Last but not least, make sure to subscribe and check out our other videos for everything around the world of rap.